The Iorì Wase podcast channel is brought to you by First Nations Fiber.
Welcome to the Iorì Wase Front Page podcast. In today's episode, we talk to Tourism Development Agent Kimberly Cross-Zacharie and Tewatohnhi'saktha Marketing and Tourism Manager Allison Jacobs about the results of a recent tourism survey in the community.
First Nations Wireless is now First Nations Fiber. You've seen our team working through the community to get you connected. From the new development to the OCR, from the 207 to Clay Mountains, FN Fiber makes fiber optic internet easy for everyone. Coming to Ghanawaga soon. Visit radio.fnfiber.com to sign up today.
Hey everyone, my name is Jordan Standup. I'm the assistant editor here at Iorì Wase, and today I have two special guests in studio. First, I'm joined by Tourism Development Agent Kimberly Cross-Zacharie, as well as Tewatohnhi'saktha's Marketing and Tourism Manager Allison Jacobs. So welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
I have these lovely ladies in here today because we're obviously going to be talking about tourism in the community, and I believe Kimberly's going to start us off by talking about a recent community consultation and some of the results that she would like to share.
We were fortunate enough to work with Planet Consulting in the fall of 2021, and they worked as in their team on a community consultation process. So we were able to survey the community. We really wanted to hear everything that everybody as possible that we could speak with had to say. So they did a hybrid process. So this was an in-person at some kiosks. It was by telephone. And then they did some by SurveyMonkey on the internet. Our goal was 370 people in the community based on the percentage for surveying in our population. And we surpassed it. So we got 481 community members. This was between November 25th and January 5th. So we were able to, speak to all those people and ask them the questions of what they wanted to see. We were here on the podcast in the fall promoting it. We really want to know how the community wants to move forward. It's really a way to make this our strategic plan for the next 3 years community owned. It's not just something that we as a team are going to create out of nowhere. We've worked on developing tourism for the past 8 years, and that was based on findings within the community 8 years ago. It was based on the current trends in the community as well as in the tourism industry and what we had to offer. So we're looking at that again and we're seeing, okay, well, where is the Indigenous tourism industry right now? What does the Quebec market look like? Right now, it's mostly domestic. It's all shifting, and that was because of the pandemic, but really our market was always domestic, so it hasn't changed much for us. So we're working on all these things and we want to make sure that everything that we have envisioned is in line with what the community vision is. So with all these responses, we have a lot of findings that came out, and we want to today discuss that with you guys and let the community know. And then these results also from the survey are available online. So people are able to go to our website and they can view the survey results there. They can also call us at the Welcome Center or email us at info@ghanawagetourism.com. And they can get these results emailed to them. The same thing for our draft strategic plan. So that we don't have available online just because it's still a draft and it's ours. We own it. We don't want another community to pick it up around the world, So we're just sending that out by request. If anybody wants to see it, it's not a secret. We're open. We have an open door policy. People can come in, they can call us, they can chat. And we're fortunate our welcome center is open again. So, people can access these findings as well if they're, they want to know more. I guess we could start off if, Allison, if you wanted to jump in and just talk about some of the first key findings.
So one significant finding that we wanted to know was whether community members agreed or somewhat agreed with further development of tourism in Kahnawake. That was very important for us to know, and we were happy to see that 94% of the participants were in agreement. So we're very happy that our efforts are supported and we can continue to move forward. We also looked at 3 top focus areas for tourism development. And what came out of that was they wanted, 72% wanted us to share the history as well, 56% arts and crafts development, and storytelling of our community as well was something that stood out. And as well, the top 3 attractions that they wanted us to develop was the Cultural Center Museum Theater when it's going to be built. That was very high. It was 84%. So we know that that's going to be a popular central place that people will want to visit. So we're looking forward to that. And again, Ghanawaga Tourism Welcome Center, they agree with further development there in terms of our tours and the services that we offer. And the Echoes of a Proud Nation powwow, they wanted us to continue further developing the powwow. So that was great to see. One of the areas that we realized as well was that our community members don't know too much about Ghanawaga Tourism and what we do. That was very low at 38%. So that's going to be a top priority for us moving forward, that the community knows what services we have to offer, what we've done in the past, and what we're continuing to do. And as well, we were able to identify some of the challenges that we see with tourism. You know, people are concerned with safety and security, as well as they're concerned with the pandemic, you know, presently. And I guess the lack of maybe tourism infrastructure and zoning. And the other one was community awareness of tourism initiatives, benefits, and goals. So they wanted, what did they say here? Community awareness of tourism initiatives, benefits, and goals. That was one of the challenges that were identified that has to be made aware. And as well, community perceptions, both internal and external, about the community, about Ghanawaga in general. And then also the locations, preferred locations. So we wanted to see what was preferable to the community in terms of further development. So definitely they were not, of course, in favor of having development in residential areas, which is, you know, what we expected, of course. And then the old village near the church, that's a historic site. They were in agreement with that. And as well as on the major highways, they were in agreement with having further development there.
Was there anything that you guys would say stood out as surprises within some of these results when they came back?
Yes and no. I guess this is just because I've been in the tourism development now for the amount of years. I kind of, you know, speaking with community members, I kind of had a feel of what the results would look like. And I was really shocked, though, at the amount of lack of knowledge, you know, of what tourism does within our community and also externally as well, you know, working with our Montreal and Montérégie partners. We share the information, we think it's out there, but then the workers, like who are frontline, let's say in the info centers, they didn't even know, but we spoke with all the higher ups. So we have to take a new approach, and it's like, okay, well, now let's do one of the things we're going to do is a tour for Tourism Montreal and invite their whole team, you know, even the people who work in the front, to come and see what we do. And that's a normal thing to do in the industry, you know, when you're working with your partners or operators or the press, is you invite them to come and see what you do, so that way they know what they're writing about or promoting or just telling other people. We'll be doing that with our partners. And what Allison had said was, the awareness of our products and services, you know, we didn't realize, you know, just because we're in it every day, we're doing the events, that people don't notice maybe that Kahnawake Tourism is a partner or a sponsor or a main organizer of certain events in the community, or even that they exist. So we're going to be working in the next, I guess I would say like 6 months, on an awareness campaign within the community of, you know, what we do, how people can access our services, how tourism can benefit the community. And we're also going to be doing a newsletter. So that's one of the ways that we're going to get the information out there. So aside from our social media and our websites, we have a new newsletter that we're drafting right now. And we're going to highlight some things, maybe, you know, stories like, what is a visitor? Because we all have different images of what a visitor looks like, just like a visitor has different images of what we look like as Ngwehe people.
Definitely.
So, you know, what are tourists coming? What do they look like? And what are the differences between a visitor and a tourist? What our clientele are? Who's coming here? Whether that be for guided tours or whether it just be the various businesses we have in the community. You know, who our clientele, who's coming in the community, and, you know, highlight the different industries that we have within tourism, because there's so many different areas. You know, there's culinary tourism, there's cultural tourism, there's leisure, there's religious tourism, educational tourism, and we fall in a lot of those categories. So, we have 2 new hotels that are being built. We have our cultural center being built. What areas can we develop more? Which ones can we improve upon if we're already in those sectors? And we'll be making those information, available to the community in these next few years, hoping that it gives more insight as to what we're trying to achieve, as well as how it can benefit the individual community member. And then we're going to be working on kind of an advisory board or a committee that's going to say what's okay and what's not okay to share. It's going to be a collective group of people, and we'll see, because we've never done this before. And I've seen it done in various other communities within the industry, Indigenous tourism specifically, is that they gather maybe elders and youth and knowledge keepers and people within the industry. And they have certain standards of what they can share with visitors and what's not able to share. So, we want to really highlight that, that's what one of the steps we're taking, because as we're increasing, our product development, as our cultural center is being built, we have the opportunity for more experiences and cultural tours. So we want to make sure we're doing it in the right way. We want to be respectful and mindful, not to overshare, but we still want to help people learn who we are.
See, this might be a perfect example of how important it is for people to participate in these community surveys, because you guys are both sitting here with piles of paper in front of you, and clearly you guys have gone through all of the comments and everything like that. So when people see these things come up, these types of surveys, it's very crucial because now it could be some of the guiding principles for tourism moving forward.
Exactly. It's community owned. If you don't take part in these surveys, then your voice isn't heard. As a person who has surveys going through, I'm always filling everybody else's surveys out. I'm I want to make sure that I'm not that person that, just says, whatever, somebody else will do it. If I want my voice heard, then I'm going to participate. So I'm really happy with the people who took part in this. We had a great turnout. And then also with our strategic planning sessions, we had a great turnout for those. That was also done in the fall. Just hearing the different discussions, we have all similar concerns from various sectors in the community, but we all have a common vision and goal. It's really positive to see, that we're of all one mind. We always say that when we do our Ghanawaga every day, that we should be of one mind. And really we are. And it's really nice to see, moving forward and seeing all these results. Yeah, we're working our best to get this info out there. And, there's a lot of findings. I don't expect everybody to read the entire thing like we have. Mm-hmm. But it's not, we wanted to reiterate that this strategic plan, it's just a draft for now, but it's not just going to sit on our shelf. Some places they're like, oh, we're getting a strategic plan and we got all this money and we did this community consultation. And then we'll see you in 3 years. We're going through these documents, we're analyzing it, we're seeing how each part of what we do right now can fit into this, or if it doesn't fit, then let's scrap it and move on, because it's really important that we're progressive and that we're innovative and we're looking exactly at what we should be doing.
So based on some of these results, like you're saying, Kimberly, it seems like a lot of people they're in line with what tourism is looking for. So you guys are on the right track. That's got to give you some positivity moving forward.
Mm-hmm. It does. It's a little scary too. We're moving forward. Everybody has their fears, and we want to make sure we do it right. That was one thing that came out in the survey too. There were a lot of fears, about visitors coming in our community. And I think that's normal, for a small, close-knit community that we are. And also, we just came out of a pandemic. So people coming here are scary, on top of being scary.
Right. We haven't had many visitors for a better part of 2 years to begin with. Right.
Exactly. So one of the items that came out of that was, certain areas, how Allison had said, the different locations for further development. We want to stick to those areas that we want to develop. And we want to make sure that anybody who's coming is not, wandering where they shouldn't be. So one of the first items that we have in our draft plan, and we were kind of already doing this already, so I'm glad that it falls right into the needs of the community, is our map. It's an interactive map. It's already out there. It's been live since last summer. But that map people can click on and get direct directions, if that makes sense, saying those words together. They can get the exact directions to go towards maybe the business they're going to or the attraction without getting, lost off their route. Because it is a struggle that a lot of people have. It's a struggle that everybody has, getting parcel deliveries or food deliveries. So this was one way that we found could be easier for people to navigate throughout the community and stick to the certain, designated roads and not residential areas. So another thing is our new Explore Ghanawaga app, and we just called it that for our project proposal. I don't know, it doesn't have like a name officially, but it's going to be by QR codes or a certain link, and people are going to be able to use their smartphones to scan and get information right on their phone. So historical information, let's say at the Quebec Bridge Memorial Monument or the cenotaph, or they'll go to the shrine and go through the museum and be able to have a guided tour right there on their phone. And this is going to help us because we always have difficulty with tour guides. We have a limited staff of tour guides right now. And we're doing a tour guide recruitment campaign too. So if anybody's interested, you can apply. But it's going to be available in English, French, and in Ghanawaga. So it's not just a tourism product. Our people are going to be able to use it also so they can navigate throughout the community and get historical info. So we're hoping that maybe like the schools can use it. The teachers can have it. Maybe you want to near that some projects like they can go. And it's a different way of learning, being digital and sharing our history and our culture. So it's going to have written facts, but also audio and video.
Maybe it's just also a good alternative for the people who don't necessarily maybe want to take a guided tour or anything like that, or they'd like to prefer to learn on their own, if you will.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. We have a lot of people who are just walking in, let's say. We have a lot of guided tours who are pre-scheduled and they have a set route and they have a guide with them. But for the people who are just stopping by, maybe for the day, maybe a couple, maybe a family, they can have this opportunity to do a more self-guided tour, but we'll keep them on the route that we want, so to follow the links route, make sure they stay in the areas that we designate as visitor friendly.
I think one of the things too we wanted to touch on was the fact that since 2014, when actually statistics were taken about the number of visitors that come into the community, we have an average of about 1,600. And those are structured tours. And like Kimberly mentioned, they're structured in terms of they call, they organize, they say how many people are coming, what do they want to see, do they want to have lunch, do they want to go to the cultural center. So they're very organized. They'll have a tour guide available to them. If they need a bilingual one, we'll have a bilingual tour guide. And then they're taken on their tour. So, you have 1,600 people coming within the year, primarily mostly summer, but you have them coming in and it's very structured. So very similar to the powwow with 8,000 visitors coming. That event is well done in terms of being structured, right? They go on a certain street, they come in and out a certain street. It's secured on the island. And then, so that's how we will continue to move forward with visitors as they come in. Like I said, we're very glad that the community is in favor of continuing tour development. And we have a goal of increasing our tours. The number of people coming in our tours is about 135 more people a year we're looking at, so 100 to 150. We want to be slow and steady because we develop, as we're developing, it all works in a good pace, right? And so for what we've seen, for an example, the food fests that Kimberly has put together, they continue to grow. They continue to grow in the businesses are wanting to get on board. They're wanting to share their maple culinary dishes and things like that. And we can see it's becoming a standard, should I say that? And
it's almost expected every season.
And they're jumping on board. So it's like saying the powwow, we're going to have the Maple Fest. We're going to have the Strawberry Fest. So it's becoming a fun thing. They're able to make something different. They're able to have more people have access to their restaurant, their store, to see what's going on because we do promotion. So we're getting to see really a lot of business involvement. It's a positive thing. we want to continue to encourage that, and Shop Ghanawaga is a big part of that, right? We want to shop and keep our money circulating in the community, but we also want some outside dollars because businesses don't want to stay stagnant. They want to grow. And so that's another goal for tourism as well, is to really, really help businesses expand their product line, their service line, and have more clientele for sure.
I'm glad that you actually mentioned the food fest and the powwow, because earlier we were talking about awareness in terms of the work that tourism does in the community. And maybe there's a lot of events that people aren't necessarily aware of that you guys are a part of or spearhead. So in addition to powwow and maybe the food fest, could you talk about some of the other events or things that you guys get involved with?
Yep. So our food fests, they were like, in the past, they were strictly where the restaurants or businesses, if they had the seasonal foods or creations, that we would promote them collectively. In the future, moving forward, we will look to having in-person events for these kind of like mini fairs, where people can get together with vendors and we can share the food and maybe we can have, demonstrations of maybe it's a beater or different crafts or maybe dancers, we can have those live events. So moving forward, you can look for those. In the past, we've helped with various events with the youth center, like their winter carnival. People don't think of that as, any tourism experiences because it's our youth. However, they bring in people from Akwesasne, Ganasatage, that's tourism. They're visitors. They're coming to our community. Other Ungwehue coming and sharing our culture at the powwow. That's tourism. It's not just about non-Ungwehue people. So those are some examples. The Cultural Awareness Month. So in the past, we've offered, and we will be doing this year again, free guided tours. So throughout the month, once a week, we would do a guided tour, and it's open to everybody. And we've had community members who are in those tours, and they take it and they're like, wow, I didn't even know this about Ghanawaga. And I laugh because every time I sit in on tour, I learn something new. There's so much to learn. Even our tour guides, when they start talking, and oh my God, like listening in on the tour guide training, where the conversations go and the histories, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have so much.
But there's one part that I actually I know Kimberly was working to develop further, was educational tours. Mm-hmm. And, having the schools come in with the children to learn more about our community. I think that's vital in terms of them getting the right information at a young age, so we can sort of change that perception of, we still see adults that come in and they didn't even know that they could come here. They didn't even know that they could, shop here. They didn't know all those things, right? And they have all these perceptions about what they read in the outside. So that's really an important element as well with the tourism, because we want to help educate people about what we're about, and what our history and what we've been through in the past. So I think that's a really good learning.
Yeah. And we're going to be expanding upon that. That's one of the areas that we found in the strategic planning is the educational tourism area. We already were working towards it, but more of a push now, especially because of the Truth and Reconciliation. Schools want to add Ungwehue history into their curriculum. So all the Greater Montreal area have been contacting us. Okay, well, how can we incorporate this? How can we visit? How can somebody come to our school? So, we have a database of artisans that we've kept. And if somebody says, hey, listen, I want somebody to come and show us how to make baskets. Well, I'm calling Richard Nolan.
Right.
Or if they say, listen, can somebody come and just give us a historical talk? And then I'll call one of my tour guides and say, okay, well, are you interested? And you can go, and it's like a guided tour, but on their site. So we kind of have to diversify what we've been offering in terms of really sharing just history because of, the way that, our region, our province, this country, like the way that it's going. People want to learn about Ungwehue people. I'm seeing that all in the different press and news, like throughout Indigenous tourism across Canada, across the world, really, is people want to learn about the real history, our version of the history. They're so shocked at what they didn't know and what was taught to them as children, and then as adults, how they still don't know, and they don't know our realities. So, we're going to work on including that more into our tours. But I guess just to get back to the events, one of the projects that we work with all the businesses, right? So one of the projects that we're helping work on right now is working with Nisia's Accessories, Jessica Hernandez. She's the owner. And when she did a call out for 215 moccasins for the children that were found at Kamloops, she wanted to do something that was different, something memorable, and something educational. So we were discussing it, and I said, well, maybe we can incorporate that into what we're doing also. So we might, use that. I hate calling it an exhibit, but use it as an exhibit, for lack of better words, to teach the children, to use it as an opportunity to get those stories out there. And it's good because they see it. I went with her, and when she was showing it at all the schools in Kahnawake, I went to the Cattery school with her, and, just seeing their kids and reaction to it and telling them, even our kids don't know a lot of the stories, and it's hard to tell them. So this is a not so harsh way, I think, of sharing, those stories and our realities and, why we do a lot of the things we do because of intergenerational trauma. And so, we're going to be working on that. So that's just one little project that we're working on, but it's a huge project.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Other events that we've done in the past were like pop-up art markets, cultural days. And we're going to be working, hopefully, with Thrifting the Night Away this summer on their pop-up art markets, getting them, which is nice because we've done it in the past, and Thrifting the Night Away wants to do it on their own. So it's like they can kind of take it over, but we can assist them and get it going so that it's more, the community is kind of just taking these things on, which is really nice. Off the top of my head, other events. My goodness. We go to events, so maybe in Montreal. So we've gone to the First Peoples Festival in Montreal a few years ago. It was at Place des Arts outside. And we've gone to, oh my gosh.
The powwow in Montreal.
Yes.
And McGill.
The McGill powwow. We've gone to, there was another Montreal powwow. It was held, I think, at the Verdun Arena. So we attend all these other external events as a promotion, but also so that we're connected with, all these different networks, our urban Ungwewe people as well. And then I also sit on various committees. So one example is we just had a request from Parc Jean Japot in Montreal, and they have formed an Indigenous advisory board. And that's to create guidelines and standards of how they can more indigenize their space and their product offerings. So everything that they're going to be doing is going to look back at these guidelines in their production plans. So there's a big group of people that they got from across Quebec who are Indigenous, and we've created this. I didn't create it, but I'm part of it now. This Indigenous Advisory Board. So that's one example. I'm also a board member of Indigenous Tourism Quebec. So seeing what other communities are doing and helping develop tourism in Quebec. I'm part of the religious shrines in Montreal. So there's a board that meets I think it's 2 times a year. And because of the church, they needed a representative to sit on that board. So I sit on that board for them. And I listen to what the trends are and where they're moving forward. And they like to hear from us of what we're doing. And we've collaborated on different things, which kind of led to one circuit that we created, which was the St. Lawrence River Shrines. And that's 5 shrines located along the St. Lawrence River. And we created this tourism circuit. So we have one representative who goes to all the different marketplaces and he sells this circuit. And mostly it's to the Quebec market. And people can visit all the shrines, and they all have a museum, and they do guided tours, and they have boutiques. So it's really interesting to see the different histories between them and similarities and differences. So that's fun.
So if we're looking forward to the very near future, can we expect to see any more surveys or consultations from tourism?
Maybe not for a little while. This was a huge process. Our strategic plan is for 3 years. So we're coming to the closing of our strategic planning process. So the survey was part of it. We have the last steps of just the validation of our plan. So we're hoping that people can request to see it. And if they want to review it, they can discuss it with us and let us know their concerns. We will be presenting it to the community probably via Facebook Live because it's hard to still hold an in-person session. So we'll be doing that, a short presentation, myself and the consultant that we worked with, John Dunn from Floor 13. So we'll be doing that. And yeah, we'll be presenting the final plan within the next few months, that's for sure. I don't have a set deadline just yet because we want to do it right. We're not just going to say, oh, we need it done by June 1st. And that's it. If somebody has something to say, like, we're going to listen. Moving forward, I don't see many surveys, but we always do, after our events. Like if participants want to participate in a survey, we want to know how we did at the event. Or for our visitors that are coming, we do surveys with them. So how was your visit today? Where did you visit? So we want to see if they did like a restaurant or a boutique, or maybe they played golf or something. Let's see where it's all going. But I don't think any big community surveys for now.
No, we'll be working with these documents, this information, and setting our objectives for the first, second, and third year, of course. And, we have to lay all of that out and figure out what we're going to be doing. And, we're always growing our team. And so I think it's really going to be a while before there's anything majorly new. We're now in a tourism season that we didn't think we were going to have, but now we're going to have one, which is amazing. Very happy with that. Hopefully it doesn't change. So we're just looking forward to actually sitting down and making the plans based on all the input from the community.
So there's definitely a lot of exciting things to look forward to in terms of tourism. But before we go, was there anything else that you guys might want to add about tourism?
Oh my goodness, we said so much today. Really, if you're interested in learning more, sign up for our newsletter or just follow our Facebook page because we post everything on there. Participate in our food fests, especially right now because I think I gained about 10 pounds just eating all maple products. I'm not promoting gaining weight, but it's so delicious. And at least it's a healthy sugar, right? So yeah, really, get involved. And if you'd like to learn more, we're here. We also want more tour guides. So if you want to apply to be a tour guide, stop by the Welcome Center and fill out an application. And we're looking for English and French speaking tour guides. So yeah, a lot of good things coming out. Stay tuned for it to be posted publicly. And I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take this opportunity to thank both of you guys again for coming in today and sharing all this information. And we'll be looking forward to chatting again soon.
Awesome. Okay.
Now for having us.
Thanks for listening to the Iorì wase Front Page podcast. Be sure to check out our other podcasts like Iorì wase Profiles, Meatheads, and The Beating Table on Google and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
The views and opinions of the guests expressed in this podcast do not reflect those of Iorì wase and its employees.